Hello, children. This is Grandma Carla, and I am here with you today to read The Eagle by Cynthia Rylant. And she is one of my favorite authors, and I have loved her Lighthouse Family series. And we've read a little bit of those, and we'll read some more. But this one, we are starting with Chapter 1, Fall. Here's a picture of fall. On a cliff, far above the blue waters of the ocean, there stood a solitary lighthouse, and in this lighthouse lived a family. They were Pandora the cat, Sebald the dog, and Whistler, Lila, and Tiny, 3 little mouse children. This family had not always been together. They once were scattered far and wide, and none had ever guessed that they would find one another one day. For many years, Pandora had lived all alone in a lighthouse, bearing her loneliness so that she might save others by keeping the lighthouse burning. Sebald had been a sailor, steering his little boat Adventure across the waters of the world. And the 3 children, Whistler, Lila, and Tiny, had lived within the walls of an orphanage until the night they escaped to the sea. But one day, Sebald washed ashore in a storm, and Pandora found him. Then Pandora and Sebald, in turn, found the children lost and adrift in the ocean. Thus these wanderers came together, made a home, and thereafter they were the Lighthouse family. Now it was fall. The children and Pandora and Sebald had enjoyed a lovely summer. Through the long days, the children had collected rose petals and lavender, and now Pandora was kept busy each morning in the kitchen making rose petal and lavender jellies for the winter table. Outside on these crisp blue days, Sebald, with Tiny tucked snug in the roll of his wool cap, tended the fall garden. He planted onions, covered the beans, harvested the carrots and potatoes for cold storage, and he sowed peas. Tiny watched his every move full of delight. Tiny was very attached to Sebald. And on these splendid mornings, Whistler and Lila, the oldest children, explored the rocky shore. At low tide, they climbed over the slippery stones, careful not to step on the barnacles or to disturb small crabs living in the crevices. If one of them disturbed a sea squirt who was hiding, the mice got a surprise shower. Sometimes a bald eagle left his nest at the top of the fir tree in the woods beyond the shore and soared grandly above the children. Whistler and Lila arched back their heads and watched him glide. "What do you think his name is?" Whistler asked Lila this morning. "Something impressive, I expect," Lila said. "Like him." "Perhaps Higginbotham," said Whistler. "Higginbotham?" asked Lila. "What sort of a name is that?" "I saw it in a book once," said Whistler. "It seemed like an important name." Lila watched as the eagle flew farther and farther, disappearing into the clouds. "Maybe so," she said. "Maybe that's Higginbotham." Whistler looked toward the thick, tall trees from which the eagle had flown. He sighed. "I wish Pandora would allow us to explore the woods," he said. "She's afraid we might become lost," said Lila, picking up a sea lettuce to take home. Whistler and Lila looked silently across the shore toward the dark forest. "I suppose we might get lost," said Whistler. "Yes," said Lila, "we might." They stood gazing at the deep green woods. Both wanted to go there very much. That is in the end of Chapter 1. So let me show you the pictures. And here's a picture of Pandora as she's making the jellies to store up. And then here's a picture of the 2 little mice running along the shore. And over there they can see the woods. They'd like to go in them. There, they are looking at the eagle and wondering what his name is. That's the end of chapter 1, and this is Grandma Carla, and I love you.